Hello and welcome to this 5-minute teaching on the supernatural agape love of God. I'm Pastor Jack Shoup with Grace Fellowship of Georgetown, Kentucky, and I want to encourage you to hunger after love. I believe of every principle, of every topic, of every promise of God, our ability to walk in supernatural love is of prime importance. I believe if you can walk in love, it'll energize your faith. You can receive divine healing, divine increased prosperity. Your family can be saved. In fact, you walk in supernatural love, you'll become a harvest net, a magnet for people to come to the kingdom of God. And I'm telling you, God's assignment for every person on earth, man or woman, all that come to Jesus, their assignment is to walk in agape. And so, again, you've got to want it enough to be willing to make changes in your life. So you can't continue the same, just walking through form and formality, ritual, habit, even habitual Christianity and step into love. You got to target because it's going to require everything you have. I remember being back in college a few years ago as an engineer. There were times you were all in engineering. I mean, there were exams, there were experiments, there were classes to go through. Sometimes studying, it seemed like around the clock. And I couldn't name the number of all-nighters I pulled getting ready for engineering exams. It was a time of all in, but at the end, I received the engineering degree. And people that go to medical school have to attain even to, I believe, a higher level of commitment to receive of that doctorate. And so the same thing really applies in the kingdom of heaven. If you want to step into the glory of God, you want to walk in the agape love of God, you got to determine to be all in regarding not my will, but yours be done. The very thing Jesus spoke in the Garden of Gethsemane before he was crucified, where he was facing the most horrible death ever. He said, Lord, I really don't want to do this, but you got a plan for my life. I know I'm to give my life as a seed. Not what I feel like I want to do right now, but let's do your plan. And if you're going to walk in agape, you've got to have the same attitude. God, what would you have me do? And God would say, I'm going to have you live as a blessing today. I'm going to have you speak into someone's life. I'm going to have you sow into someone's life. I'm going to have you disregard how people have treated you and forgive them. And we could go on, that you live your life as a seed. In the Gospels, they came to Jesus and they said, the Greeks want to see you. And Jesus gave them an answer that was just quite perplexing. He said in John chapter 12, verse 24, Verily, verily, or I guarantee it, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. Now listen, he's alluding to farming, that if you're going to plant a seed, you sow it in the field, that seed you sow dies. I mean, it germinates, and the life that was in the seed springs forth, absorbs the nutrients of the soil, and we've already learned that our soil is agape. That's what we're tapped into. And so as that seed steps into its divine, calling, it produces much fruit. Now, we always think of the fruit being, increase. If I will die to self, I can bring forth many people into the kingdom. I believe that's totally true. But the Bible talks about the fruit of the Spirit, which is love. And if you want to tap into supernatural agape, it will require a dying to self. You're no longer looking to find out what you can get from other people. You lay down manipulation. You guard your integrity with everything you have. And you determine, I'm going to be a blessing no matter whether they like me or not, whether they accept me or not, whether I'm going to get anything back from them or not. I'm going to be a blessing to the people I come in contact with. What happens is, you're dying to self, you're living your life as a seed, and get ready, fruit's about to come into our lives. It's our calling. It's our destiny. What an awesome God we serve. Be blessed.